Good morning. Good morning. How the devil are you doing this fine day? I hope you're all fit and well. Now, normally at this stage, there's a bit of intro music that we've stolen from somewhere on the internet. Well, we've gone one step further today. I'm about to play you the Breakfast Show rap. Yes. I was playing around yesterday with an AI system called Udio, and it asked me to punch in some words and some lyrics, and it's come up with a song, and it asked me for the style of song that I required. And I thought, I kind of looked at myself in the mirror and thought, what is the least likely genre of music for somebody as old and as white as I am? And I decided that the way forward was gangster rap. So stand by your beds, because this is the Breakfast Show rap.
All the news on building and construction, the latest on demolition and destruction, the mystery machine, question of the day, we have got your back. And if you stick around, we will return with the bit we call the crack. The time has come, it's time to go, so welcome to the Breakfast Show.
Yeah. Welcome to the Breakfast Show. I've got to say, I was mightily impressed with that. There's that. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Oh my God. I mean, literally punched in some words, and yes. Chrissy's just in answer to Dan here. Chrissy's song is still lurking in the background. I'm not sure if I've got it on the screen, but I can play it. Dan actually says that's good. We're still waiting for the final version of Jim's song, so I will be doing something with that. Does the rap come with bacon, sausage, and egg? If it did, I wouldn't be here. Gary, you don't waste your time. No, well, I do, actually. You'll see later in the show, I'm on a bit of an AI kick this morning. I'm going to say good morning to Steve Williamson. And Dan has just said, is that AI on AI? It is AI on AI, not Al on AI or AI on Al. It is AI on AI. All become clear. I'm going to press the button in just a moment, but first of all, I want to say a very big congratulations to those fine folks at Steelrist. Steelrist has just been recognised as one of Sweden's best managed companies for the 5th consecutive year. They're doing something right, aren't they? I can only speak for, as I find, and I've always found Steelrist to be an absolute pleasure to deal with. Seems I'm not alone. Yeah, Steelrist, congratulations. That is fantastic. Thank you for that, Footy. He says, I'll give you a pat on the back for that. Really good, really hip-hop. Yes, I mean, when you look at me, you think, yes, he's a hipper and a hopper, and no mistake. Loads to get through. Don't forget, this is up for grabs today. I'll get to that in just a moment. You've had the rap. We've got loads and loads more. Here's an update on the Jim Turner Breakfast Show theme. I keep asking Josh, my little mate, but he's being slack. I won't read out all of it. He's being slack and not getting around to it. Fully understand. Don't worry, we will. I've got a couple of versions of that. I am actually going to see if I can convince Udio to give me another one in the style of Ultravox or Gary Newman or the Human League or something like that. But yeah, we'll come back to that. And well done to Steelrist. Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure all of this is down to Gary Muirhead, because he drives all things Steelrist. I'm sure they've taken one look at what he's doing and said, yes, they're obviously well managed. Dave Paget, Kent Demolition, is in the house. Morning, Dave. Thank you very much indeed for being here. He's probably arrived just in time to enter the competition to win the water bottle, which looks like that and sounds like that. Sounds like I'm starting a tea temple or something like that. And anyway, without further ado, let me roll the intro, post the question of the day, and get this show, when I find the right part, on the road. Steve Williamson says, the word steel wrist even sounds awesome. It does, doesn't it? It is one of those, does exactly what it says on the tin. It is made of steel, and it acts like a wrist. Perfect stuff. Gary Muirhead, is that water bottle made from fossil-free steel? I'm guessing it's probably not. Feels a bit too light to be steel. Probably Ali, but listen, it's Volvo. Who the hell knows? Speaking of Volvo, they are our first proper film of today. But I've screwed up. I have screwed up. I've said that you will get to see the first glimpse of the R60 rigid truck. That's not a lie. But I've got my films back to front. We've got the proper R60 film on Monday, but today we've got to look around the Volvo days. So forgive me for that, but you will get a glimpse of the R60. It all make sense in just a moment. And Mr. Hatcher is in the house getting ready for his pizza, no doubt, I would imagine. Now, what is it? It is Friday, the 31st. How on earth is it Friday? And even more so, how is it the 31st of May? Welcome to the Breakfast Show. I am your host, Mark Anthony, the Walrus of Demolition. In today's show, we're bringing you a first look at the awesome new R60 rigid dumper from Volvo. Kind of. It's more a look around the Volvo days that I've just returned from. I'm still thinking about it. We have Le Grand Bang from France. Case sparks interest in electric wheel loaders. Plus, I'll be speaking to an expert about the potential for AI in the construction industry. But that expert might just surprise you. In addition, there is a chance for you to win this exclusive water bottle to keep you hydrated during the summer, assuming we actually get one here in the UK. But before all that, we do have the small matter of today's mystery machine. So let me take Ken off the screen just temporarily. Let's have a look. We needed a bit of this. Got some very good answers coming in on the question of the day for today. Sorry, a bit confused. Just before we get to it, Gary Muirhead says, well done, Steel Wrist. Well deserved. I thought you'd be pleased, Gary. Now, Mystery Machine. I'm going to give you no clues, but this is what you've got to deal with. Doesn't tell you a huge amount, I guess. But if you've got any suggestions on what all of that might be, then please let us know. And while you're figuring that out, I do need to remind you very quickly of our question of the day. Yeah, as Steve has rightly identified, our mystery machine currently is a bucket. It's the bit behind that I'm looking for. Jim Turner, a Devon dozer? I'm guessing that's a Devilon, but yeah, it is a Devilon. No, it's not a Devilon. But I do like the idea of a Devon dozer. It only works in Devon. I quite like the idea of that. So, question of the day comes from our friend Mr. Gary Muirhead, and his question is this: past or present, what is your favourite soft drink? When I was a kid, limeade from Cresta was like crack. Couldn't get enough of the stuff. Then I went through Tizer phase. Now, boring old Diet Coke and a push Coke Zero, purely because the UK is a terrible country where root beer is not readily available, and I will not accept any form of Pepsi. No Pepsi in this house. Mr. Fitzmaurice has just joined us. Trust all is well with you. Well, all is well with me, John. Hope all is well with you as well. Good to see you back. It is not an alu screening bucket. We're not talking about the attachment. In fact, I tell you what, let me show you a bit more mystery machine. There you are. That's actually what we're looking for. We're looking for make and model, if anybody's got any clues on all of that. Now, our question of the day obviously relates to your favourite soft drink. Let's stick with the drink theme, shall we? Seems like a good idea to get our competition underway for this. Let me take that off the screen so you can actually see what I'm talking about. This exclusive metal water bottle from the fine folks at Volvo, hauled all the way back from Eskilstuna just a couple of days ago. So, how do you win? Well, I could tell you, but much easier to just show you, I think, when I can find the right button. Here we go. This is how you enter to win the water bottle. Simple as that. Just go to the chat and type the word Volvo. Type the word Volvo, and I can tell you now, if you're watching on Instagram, our system will not recognize you. So if you want to enter the competition to win the Volvo water bottle, hop on over to Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, or Twitter and enter there, please, because I won't be able to see it otherwise. But that's how you win the water bottle. Lots and lots of stuff coming through. Is the Mystery Machine hang on a minute. Is the Mystery Machine a JCB? No, it's not. Is it a John Deere 870G? It is not. Is it a Kubota 8-tonner? It is none of those things. It is none of those things. I tell you what, let me show you a smidge more. There you are. Or at least you know what it's riding upon now. Lots of good entries coming through on the question of the day, which is good to see. So, while all that's taking place, let me come out of here. Let me come out of there as well, because I do need to play a bit of this. So, yes, Volvo days. Obviously, the event is still going on. I think Garvin from Most of the Diggers is probably there as we speak, as it happens. But yes, we attended the Volvo days. Fantastic event it was. I've misled the entire audience because I've said the main focus today's show is going to be the R60 dump truck. It's in the video I'm about to play you, but that's not the focus. This is an overall look at what turned out to be one awesome event. Get your eyeballs around this. Yeah, if you're looking really closely there, you'll see the tree that Fred crashed drone into. That's a whole other story. Steve says, loving the R dump trucks. Yeah, absolutely. And he also said, porn. It pretty much was. What a place. What a host Volvo are. And there is a degree of that. The Swedish really know how to do things really well. Hats off to them. Yes, hats off indeed. And the excavators and shovels, pretty much everything in that video. Yeah, Ken Hatchout, some setup. Yeah, again, we were talking about this, and this is not a criticism of JCB by any means, or any other manufacturers. JCB have got their display quarry, or their demonstration quarry, but the grandstand for it is quite small. So when they're actually doing the display, you get maybe, at best, you probably get a dozen machines. With that, because it's basically, the whole thing opens out onto that display area, you could get 30, 40, maybe 50 machines all operating at the same time. Absolutely unbelievable. Peter McKenna has just joined us. Good morning, Peter. And he says, good morning to you all. Peter, you've just reminded me, let me put the banner back up so that you can possibly take part in today's frivolity with the giveaway. We've had some more guesses on this here mystery machine. What have we got? Let me go back. Ken Hatcher said the Kubota 8-tonner. It's not one of those. Volvo ECR 88 Plus. It is not one of those. Steve Williamson has suggested it might be a Kobelco. Closest guess yet. Guess yet. It is not, I can tell you, it is not a Terex HR32. No way is it one of those. Steve Williamson said, I'm glad they didn't do too much on the design of the excavators. They already look sick, not now even better with some slight differences. Yeah. There's a lot more to them than looks, as you will learn when we actually feature them in the days ahead. It's a proper upgrade, although they're not calling them the F-Series. It is, for all intents and purposes, the F-Series, and there is some marked changes, but they still look, at their heart, they still look very much like the Volvo that we've all come to know and love. Dan Cullen is guessing our mystery machine as the SK80 from Kobelco. It's not one of those. I'll give you a little bit more. There you are. That's what you're dealing with. You're on the right track, but you're not quite there yet. So yes, please keep the guesses coming in, and don't forget, type Volvo into the chat for your chance to win that. Keep leaving this up to win that. I won't do that anymore. I'm starting to get on my own nerves. Steve has just said, in fact, I've just read it more closely. He's got the right answer. We've actually got a winner on our mystery machine, which is good because it does mean I can get to focus on other stuff. Let me put it back up on the stage. There we are. Steve Williamson has gone for the SK135. He is on the money. And just to prove it, there you are. I thought I'd throw you off the track by making it a black one, but Steve is better than that. He knows. He looks beyond the racial profiling of machines, and he knows exactly what they are. So well done, Steve. Congratulations on that. You are today's winner. Andy Dalvell says, have Volvo changed the cab on the F-Series? Yes, there is a new cab. But predominantly, I think the changes are internal. I think if you guys, because you guys live and breathe this stuff, I think you would be able to spot the difference. But most of the real changes are inside. And Peter McKenna, Peter actually says it's the SK135 SR-7. It's the R-7, so very close. Demo Dial says the Kobelco is a great looking machine. Love a machine in black. Yeah, I have to say one of the best machines I've seen, or best looking machines I've seen here in the UK. And I'm not sure if they've still got it, but CDC used to run a black Hitachi High Reach. Oh, that was a sexy looking machine. That was, really did like that. So yes, Lou Carnage just joined us and says it's a Friday. It is Friday indeed. Lou, don't forget you can possibly win yourself a Volvo water bottle should you so desire. You can see how to do that at the bottom of the screen. We do need to crack on though. What have we got coming up next? Oh yes. I'm not sure I want to dwell on this, but Demo Darv says, once you go black, you don't go back. I'm just going to leave that hanging in the air now. We'll be right back after this.
If you are enjoying this episode, please consider supporting the show. You can leave us a tip at buymeacoffee.com/demolition news.
Just think, all those poor souls have joined the show a little bit later. Didn't get to hear the Breakfast Show rap. May have to play it again at some point in the near future. Now, we are off to France. It's only a couple of weeks since I've been there, but we're off to France. And we're off to France to see, my French isn't the best, but Le Big Bang, or Le Grand Bang, perhaps. Have a look at this. Pretty smart, right? I do need to make a very quick apology to Mr. Peter McKenna. I said he was closer on our Mystery Machine. He's just sent me the actual photograph that I stole to do today's Mystery Machine. And yes, Humble Pie springs to mind. Yes, Humble Pie does spring to mind. The machine in question was an SK135 SR-7, which is exactly what Peter said. I wrote down that it was an SK135 R-7. I wrote it down wrong. He got it right. There is no prize. There's nothing to get excited about. But he was right. I was wrong. Not the first time I've said that in my life, I've got to be honest. They need a big beat when it went boom. Maybe I'll go back and re-edit it. Maybe I won't. I've got better things to do than worry about that. Demo Dale says, love a blowdown video from the strip out prep on the deck. Fantastic. I wish they went on longer, particularly, well, I mean, obviously we've got one of those coming up on the 12th of June at 7 p.m. in the evening. We've got Mike Keogh coming back from C&D Consultants, and he's going to be talking about what leads to a blast. There was a big blast or a big chimney down in Anglesey 2 or 3 months ago, I guess. And Mike and his team at C&D were very closely involved with that, with TRD Demolition. And the plan, basically, we're going to start the show with the blast, and then we're going to get Mike to tell you exactly what led to that blast, if you see what I mean. Steve says, all that work for it to be gone in half a second. Yeah, absolutely right. 3 seconds and the dirt is gone. That rings a bell. Big bada boom. Let's go, says Demo Dale. Fantastic stuff. Yeah, very popular film, that one. And yes, Peter McKenna, Mark, go and look at your WhatsApp. I am, and I'm suitably chastised. I do apologise. I might be a devil. I like watching videos. What happens when blowdowns go wrong? Am I going to hell? Possibly. Maybe not for that, but you may be going that way anyway. Did anyone watch the series on demolition companies in the UK? It's all about demolition companies taking down buildings. Yes, I did. In actual fact, early doors, I was one of the people that advised on it. Didn't like it, if I'm honest. Didn't like it. One of the terms of me agreeing to be part of the show, in the background, I wasn't on it, but being part of it, was I said, I don't want to be part of it if you're going to have fake jeopardy. It could all go wrong at any moment, and these things notorious for going wrong, and when in actual fact, anybody that's actually in the demolition business was looking at it thinking, well, they've got that under control. They know exactly what they're doing. I agreed on that basis. Advised them, introduced them to some people. They went away and they came back and they produced exactly the video I did, or the film that I didn't want them to produce. This could go wrong at any moment. It's tosh. They know exactly what they're doing. And Steve says, did you see the Top Gear episode where they demolished a house with equipment you really wouldn't use? Yes, I did. And I have to say, I realised Top Gear in general, well, the old Top Gear, the May, Clarkson and Hammond one, very interesting. I had some dealings with it, not that one, but if you remember rightly, at the end of a season, they did, they always had the reasonably priced car, the star in the reasonably priced car. On one season, they decided to end the season by dropping a chimney on to the reasonably priced car, and they did it with Erith. Erith Demolition were taking down a chimney not a million miles away from their head office down in Erith in Kent. And there was a lot of negotiation and various other bits and pieces. And in actual fact, they then went on to do another film with Erith as well, which was taking down a row of houses. And I think the Top Gear team used a tank, and Erith obviously used more traditional equipment. And one of the things that they are very, very good at doing, they actually came in to the meeting with Erith and said, the plan for this is we will make you look extremely professional because you are, and we will make us look stupid because we are. And that's exactly what they did. The whole shtick with the chimney falling, Richard Hammond parked the car in the wrong place, chimney explodes, lands on the car, but Erith was shown to do exactly what they're supposed to do, all the health and safety practice as you'd expect from a professional demolition company, and it was the Top Gear team that ended up looking stupid, and they've done that so many times. I've got more respect for that kind of thing than I have for this implied jeopardy. And I mean, I've never ever watched a Gold Rush. So I don't actually know, but Gold Rush is sometimes cringy with the whole, oh my God, he is right on the edge, or anything could happen any moment. Kind of puts me off. Yeah, and I realise why they're doing that. I realise they're doing that for the wider audience, the Joe Public, if you like, the people that aren't generally exposed to demolition and construction and that kind of thing. But anybody that is involved in it is looking at it thinking, that's a regular day at the office. That's not a major problem. Go and watch the Ernie blowdown at Blackpool. I helped doing the landscaping work after that. I'll go and have a look for that. We've got more to come, including something that you probably not seen before. So let's have a bit of this first. I'm going to play you something in just a moment, but let me just remind you, if you haven't done so already, please type the word Volvo into the chat. I can tell you we've had 11 entries. That is the prize that's up for grabs. We've had 10 entries, rather. 10 entries if you would like to win that water bottle to keep yourself hydrated, assuming the sun actually comes out in the UK at some point in the not too distant future. Now is the time to do it. Andy Noel says Top Gear had their red Hilux pickup on top of a blow-down building. It still ran after that. Shows how indestructible Hiluxes are. Totally right. Totally right. Yeah, it takes an awful lot to kill one of those, doesn't it? All TV shows regarding construction and transportation. The new truck show on 5 last night was full of ifs and buts. They annoy me. It's not as hard as they make it out to be. And I just on that subject, I think that's a really good point. Imagine let's say you're a 16-year-old boy or girl, but let's say boy, just for the purposes of this exercise. You're a 15-year-old boy, and you're looking at demolition as your potential career path. And along comes Channel 4 or Channel 5 or the BBC with a brand new series featuring the industry that you are keen to join. So you settle down 8 o'clock one evening with your mum and dad sat by your side. Can't wait for this. This is the career I want to pursue. This is how I want to earn my living. And on it comes, and it's, this could go wrong at any moment. That building could fall on that man's head. That machine could tip over. What are mum and dad saying to that, do you think? Career rethink? It's hardly encouraging, is it? It's hardly encouraging. And unfortunately, so much of what happens on TV takes place in not even post-production, but they come along and they film it from all the angles and they say all the nice things, and then they go away and, as I say, they do this implied jeopardy. Like demolition contractors don't actually know what they're doing and everything could go tits up at a moment's notice. Not the case. Not the case at all. But that's what gets bums on seats. That's what gets eyeballs on the screen, I guess. Now is the time for you all to divide yourselves. I want the pro electrics over there, and I want the anti-electrics over there, because we've got an electric machine to show you, and I know what happens when we do this. This is Case, and this is their electric wheel loader. I like it. You probably won't.
Hi everybody, I'm Riccardo Balma, Product Manager for Compact Wheel Loaders for Europe. Today, I have the great pleasure to introduce you to the very first electric compact wheel loader ever produced by Case. The brand new 12 EV. With its 3.8-ton operating weight, the 12 EV is powered by a 23 kWh cobalt-free lithium-ion battery. With its compact dimensions, a hinge pin height of 3.1 meter and a payload with forks of 1.15 ton, the 12 EV is the ideal fit for large-scale building construction and renovations, where indoor operation may be required, as well as any other restricted area job site that requires less noise and no emission. Our engineers, who nicknamed the first Case electric compact wheel loader Epico, developed for the 12 EV 11 CNH patented solutions, spanning from its energy management systems to its productivity and up to the operator's comfort.
Is there anything you're less likely to see on a British construction site We don't really do compact wheel loaders, and we don't particularly like electric by and large. But I would imagine in Europe, that's going to go down an absolute storm. To sum up the general feelings on electric machines, Peter McKenna says, yeah, not impressed at all. Demo Dove says he's anti-electric, can't beat the sound of a big diesel warming up on a cold morning, even if it is belching toxins into the atmosphere for our children to breathe in. Peter says the only plus point for any electric vehicles, they can be used indoors. True enough, especially in farming where they will produce their own electric with that stuff. Shit is the word he's saying there. Let's have a look. But Steve actually says having something like that on electric makes so much sense. It really does, really does. It was going back to the point I was making about the Volvo electric duck that we will be bringing you in the not too distant future. It's a machine that's designed to work in urban locations. If you're going to work something in urban location, would you not want it to be nice and quiet and nice and emissions free? I think you probably would. Final reminder. Type Volvo into the chat. Water bottle is up for grabs. How many? I think we're actually stuck at 10 entries. Yes, we are stuck at 10 entries. Dan is saying that the case machine looks hot, but depends on the application. As with all things, yeah, absolutely agree. We do have a final film to play you, and this one's, well, it's a bit longer and it's a bit strange, but I think you'll like. Well, I hope you'll like it. Let's get this out of the way first.
Since the finance bill came into effect in April, the construction industry has seen a surge of fuel thefts. The rising cost of living has placed an additional risk of theft by employees and contractors, as well as opportunistic thieves. By using diesel dye and placing warnings of its use, you are sending a clear message that this is your fuel.
Right, the film I'm about to play you is 7 minutes and 31 seconds in length, which means that's how long you've got to enter our today's draw for the Volvo water bottle. That's the final time I'm going to show it until somebody actually wins it. So if you would like to be in with a shout of winning that, please type Volvo into the chat right now. Otherwise, you will miss your shot. Let's have a look. Somebody's just said something. Steve says, some people say you won't hear them coming, being electric and silent. Well, if you can see a bright coloured machine coming towards you, are you not sure where he's going? Should you be on site? Ultimately, you should have eyes in the back of your head. Not quite literally, but you should be aware of what's going on around you. And again, let's not forget, you can add sound to a Tesla. Why can't you add? I mean, you may actually be able to do that. Maybe one of the electric equipment manufacturers has already thought of that. You can actually add the noise to it. We shall see. Peter McKenna says, grabs a pillow and comforter because we've got a long film coming up. Well, longer than usual. So, Jim Turner has Jim already no, we're right, 11 entries for the Volvo water bottle. Well done, Jim, you are number 11. Be interesting to see if you actually win. As they used to say on Monty Python's Flying Circus, now for something completely different. I won't tell you any more. I'm going to let the video speak for itself, literally. Have a look at this. Okay, I realise that having my phone on a stand beside me looks weird, but all will become clear in just a moment. One of the first rules of journalism is that you go to the source for your information. If I want to know about demolition, I speak to a demolition man or woman. If I'm reporting on the latest products from Volvo or Bobcat, I speak to Volvo or Bobcat. So when I decided to report on the latest development in AI, ChatGPT 4 Omni, I decided to go straight to the source, ChatGPT itself. So I'm about to record an interview with an AI guest stroke co-host. I'm filming this in real time. I've not pre-recorded any of my answers. I've merely told ChatGPT that I plan to have them join me on a podcast. So, let's see where this goes. Okay, look, I can't call you ChatGPT. If you're going to be my co-host, you'll need a real name, and I think we've already agreed on one. Can you remember the name that I gave you and why I gave it to you?
Yes, I remember. You decided to call me Bruce because Bruce was your best friend who you lost in a motorcycle accident about a decade ago, and you miss speaking to him.
I guess my first question is this. What role can AI play within the construction industry?
AI can play several significant roles in the construction industry. It can enhance project planning and design through predictive analytics, optimize resource management, improve safety by identifying potential hazards, and streamline workflows with automation. AI can also aid in predictive maintenance of equipment, ensuring minimal downtime and extending the lifespan of machinery.
Yeah, I'm particularly interested in that idea of machine maintenance and predictive maintenance. Tell me more about that.
Predictive maintenance uses AI to analyze data from sensors on construction equipment to predict when a machine is likely to fail or need maintenance. By monitoring factors like vibration, temperature, and usage patterns, AI can identify signs of wear and tear before they become serious problems. This helps prevent unexpected breakdowns, reduces downtime, and saves on repair costs, ultimately keeping projects on schedule and within budget.
What do you think will be the key obstacles standing in the way of wider AI adoption within the construction sector?
One key obstacle is the initial cost and complexity of implementing AI technologies. Many construction companies may find the upfront investment and integration with existing systems challenging. Additionally, there may be resistance to change from workers who are accustomed to traditional methods. Ensuring data security and privacy is another concern, as is the need for a skilled workforce to manage and maintain AI systems.
There seems to be a lot of concern that AI will have a negative impact on employment and possibly even on humanity itself. Are those fears well placed?
The concerns about AI's impact on employment and humanity are valid to some extent, but they're not necessarily inevitable outcomes. While AI may automate certain tasks, it also creates new opportunities and roles, often requiring human oversight and expertise. The key lies in how we choose to deploy and regulate AI technologies, ensuring they're used ethically and responsibly. With proper planning and safeguards in place, AI has the potential to enhance productivity, improve quality of life, and address complex challenges facing humanity.
It's an interesting point. I know it's been put forward that there is a possibility that AI will actually create jobs rather than they will be very different jobs, but it will create jobs rather than destroy them. Is there any truth in that, do you think?
Yes, there's truth to that idea. While AI may automate certain tasks, it also creates new opportunities for jobs in fields like AI development, data science, cybersecurity, and human AI interaction. Additionally, AI can augment human capabilities, leading to new roles that require a blend of technical and soft skills. Overall, while some jobs may change or become obsolete, AI has the potential to generate new employment opportunities and reshape the workforce in positive ways.
Do you foresee a time when humans and AI will work in harmony within the construction industry?
Absolutely, I believe there will be a time when humans and AI work together harmoniously in the construction industry. AI can handle repetitive tasks, analyze large data sets, and assist with complex decision-making, while humans provide creativity, intuition, and hands-on skills. By combining the strengths of both, construction projects can become more efficient, safer, and innovative. It's about leveraging the unique capabilities of each to achieve better outcomes collectively.
You mentioned machine maintenance. One of the key drivers in the construction industry or construction equipment industry these days is the use of telematics to monitor and manage equipment. Obviously, that produces a lot of data, which plays to the strengths of AI. Do you see a place in the future for AI analyzing telematics to make decision-making more smooth and more effective?
Absolutely. AI analyzing telematics data holds great potential for improving decision-making in the construction equipment industry. By analyzing vast amounts of data collected from equipment sensors and other sources, AI can identify patterns, predict maintenance needs, optimize equipment usage, and even recommend operational adjustments in real time. This can lead to better resource allocation, reduced downtime, and overall improved efficiency and productivity in construction projects.
Okay, well, that pretty much wraps up all of my questions. Is there anything that you'd like to add?
I'd just like to emphasize the importance of ongoing research and collaboration in developing AI solutions tailored to the construction industry's specific needs. With continued innovation and investment, AI has the potential to revolutionize how we plan, design, and build infrastructure, ultimately leading to safer, more sustainable, and efficient construction practices.
In that case, that only leaves me the job of signing off. I mean, I could do it, but how about you say goodbye to our audience on behalf of both of us?
Of course. It's been a pleasure discussing AI and its potential impact on the construction industry with you. Thank you to our audience for tuning in. Until next time, take care and goodbye.
Is there anything else they should do, bearing in mind this will be playing on YouTube? Is there anything else that you would advise them to do, having watched the video?
After watching the video, it's a good idea for them to engage with the content by liking the video, leaving comments, and sharing it with others who might find it interesting. Subscribing to the channel can also ensure they don't miss out on future episodes or updates. Additionally, if there are specific topics they'd like to see covered in future episodes, they could leave suggestions in the comments section.
That's perfect.
I'm glad you found it helpful. If you have any other questions or need further assistance in the future, feel free to reach out.
Mind blown? Mind blown. Steve says, could you ask it how much tile you'll need for XYZ measurements and tell you what you'll need to order? Things to help people, things like that? Probably. I mean, if you would like to come up with those measurements, I'll try it live. I can't guarantee, but I picked my oldest son up from the airport last night. And while I was driving along, I was chatting to it, but basically to bide my time, just nothing better to do, nothing on the radio. And I was asking it things about, stories I'd heard. I mean, one of them, I don't even know why it popped into my head, but I was thinking about the Roswell incident and Area 51. So I said, tell me the story of Area 51 and the Roswell incident. 10 minutes later, it came up for air, told me all the details and everything else. Unbelievable stuff. I will tell you, and I'll come back to the chat in just a minute. That actually came about partly because of VJ Nerva over at Bobcat. He mentioned on LinkedIn the other day that he was using that precise AI to, as he described it, spitball ideas, just throwing things at it and seeing what came back. So I decided to test it for myself, and I have to say I am very impressed. I've not tripped it up yet. I mean, even the fact that, you can give it a name and everything else, but it does actually work, as you saw there. I mean, there were a couple of cuts there purely because, there was a couple of pauses and there was a couple of bits of funny sound. But it is a two-way conversation. You're having a conversation and it remembers it. And it even does things like, and one of the things I tested while I was over in Sweden was, one of the things I'm very bad at, and we mentioned this yesterday, I know Dan Cullen keeps a diary. I don't. I wish I had. But I actually said to ChatGPT, could you keep a journal entry? And it says, well, we don't do dates and we don't do places. You'd have to tell us where that is. But if you tell us where you are, what the date is and what the time is and what you're doing, we will basically produce that for you, and you can drop that into your calendar or your notes app or whatever it might be. It literally is an assistant. Chris Ford says, at this moment in time, I'm not in favour of AI or anything electrical unless it can fix itself, because, as he says a little bit earlier, having one of those days, nothing's going right, got an intermittent electrical fault, keeps cutting the machine out. On the bright side, I'm getting plenty of exercise. And go back to the start of the chat Steve Williamson said, I came off there, came back on, I thought, how the hell did he change that fast? Yeah, I actually recorded that yesterday afternoon after yesterday's show. Great for loners. Can you have an argument with it? I've not tried having an argument with it, but it is literally a conversation. And all joking aside, I mean, I know you're saying that great for loners in sort of tongue in cheek, but if you are an older person perhaps, and maybe you are lonely, or you'd like somebody to speak to, or you just want to find information very, very easily. I mean, here's one of the things that and I realise there's kind of a disconnect here. If you are an older person using Google, you type in a search query and it comes up with 10 billion answers that you then have to sift through. Alternatively, if we could teach the older generation, my in-laws, for example, to just pick up their phone, press one button and say, "Can you tell me about?" And it will do exactly that. And it will do it in a way that you understand. There's no search terms. There's none of that. You're just having a conversation. It just happens that the conversation is on there. Peter McKenna says, all great until the sensors fail. So while I was waiting for Fred to finish his squash game yesterday, he lost 7-0. 7-0. I'm going to berate him about that a bit later. But yeah, he was playing squash yesterday and I went to pick him up. So I was sat outside in the car. The phone was in the mount. So I thought, I'll have a chat here. And I was talking about, which I'll come back to in just a moment. I would tell you about, we've got some other uses of that AI coming up. But I asked it about the possibility of AI in construction and everything else. And one of the things that I asked it was precisely that. What if Wi-Fi goes down? What if Bluetooth goes down, and so on down the line? And it said, these systems are fallible. They are. Bluetooth does go down. Wi-Fi goes down. Sensors fail. So do people. How is that any different? How is that any different? We talk about this very subject on this show all the time. The need to perform daily or weekly or regular checks on your machine. I'd like to think that all of those in the chat at the moment do that religiously and consistently. Not everyone does. Is that not the same thing? Are we trying to convince ourselves that only 100% infallibility is the way? Because we've never had that. At no point in human history have we had infallibility. So why should we expect that from these systems? And I'm bearing in mind, yes, sensors fail, but people go sick. People have emergencies. People have sick children. People get stuck in traffic. People miss their train. There are train strikes. I would bet a pound to a penny that there will be more issues with humans than there will be with sensors. Mick Norton says, I like how AI can create new opportunities. If you're not in a hurry to dash away, I'll come back to Mick in a moment, because I've got a video that I've saved for him specifically because I want to get his take on it. Steve says that's scary. Scary if you look at it from one way. But I mean, think about this, and this is the point I was going to make. I after I'd recorded that, I went back to ChatGPT and said, I'm thinking about doing a series of tech-related podcasts with you as the co-host. Can you come up with some suggestions on topics? And it came up with 5 and said, which do you like? And the answer was, I like all of them. I can now sit down, and I admit, looking at a bloke talking to his phone is not exactly visually appealing. So we will still record them in video form, but they're probably better as audio podcasts. But I've now got a co-host, a coherent co-host that can come up with the topics, speak about them expertly, and I don't need to move my arse. How good is that? On the flip side, Peter McKenna says hackers are these days are getting better at what they can do. They can hack governments and military. What's to stop them hacking into machines on site? Nothing. Precisely the same as there's nothing to stop a numpty from the local council estate jumping over the fence and nicking a machine and running riot. What's the difference? What is the difference? Or your man who's had a bust up with his missus the night before and he's turned up full of scotch and he decides to go and have a bit of a drive around the car park, wrecking the cars as he goes. What's the difference? Steve says, here come the hate comments. Dan says, I believe people would rely too much on AI. No intuitive thinking would be done. I don't agree with this AI. It's a balancing act. It's a balancing act. There are things that AI can do, and bearing in mind, the conversation did exist away from site. If anybody's ever actually seen the output from a telematic system, swathes of information down to minute details, it would take forever for a human to sit there and go through all of that data. Or you could say to AI, have a look at that. What's ailing my machine? what do I need to address? And it will do that. Mick Norton says, fascinating AI interaction. I'll come back to him in just a moment. While let me try that with my teeth in. While AI brings many benefits, it also raises concerns about job displacement, privacy, security, and ethical issues. The impact of AI on society depends on how it is developed and regulated, emphasizing the importance of AI practices. I'm going to guess, Peter, you didn't write that. I'm going to guess you got that from Google. It is 100% right. It is 100% right, but you have just used AI. Google is an AI. You have used AI to prove your own point wrong. That's the truth. Mick says, asking for the lottery numbers. I may try that, actually. Let's have a look. Next, we will hear Ruth has chucked you out. She found out you're having a relationship with an AI woman. Funnily enough, there's actually a bit of controversy going on. There is, I think the choice at the moment is 4 voices, and one of them sounds remarkably similar to Scarlett Johansson's character in the film Her, to the point where there is apparently a lawsuit potentially going on between the makers of ChatGPT and the makers of that Her movie, because it sounds like, and it is, I mean, Scarlett Johansson, wow, but yes, it does sound a little bit, flirt is the wrong word, but it does sound a little bit sexy, a little bit like the Marks and Spencer. This isn't just food. This is Marks and Spencer. It's like that. I've got the bloke. Good morning, all. It's good to be back, says Ed Butler. Morning, Ed. I'm off work today, sadly. I'm working currently in an area of Monmouth with no phone signal or internet. I might as well be on the moon. The moon would be better than Monmouth, in my opinion. Chris Ford says, no, we've done that one. Would be good to hack. It would be good to hack a machine to rip a cash machine out. Would need to be on the scene until it was time to stick it in the van. Much less chance of getting caught. See, there are practical purposes for AI. Chris Ford says, I've been having two-way conversations with myself for years. Think about that, though. And I know you've said that tongue-in-cheek. I know you're absolutely right. But think about you guys who are sat in your machine for 8, 9, 10 hours a day. And, you know, and I know you have a break and maybe you have a chat with the lads that you're working with or whatever it might be, but you could actually be converted. And here's another example. I've mentioned this before. I've always quite fancied myself as an Italian speaker. I'd love to be able to speak Italian. So yesterday, again, driving to the airport, I said to ChatGPT, Bruce, I said, I'd quite like to learn some basic conversational Italian. Can you devise me a course? Yep, absolutely. We'll start day one today with just some, how to say hello, goodbye, good morning, good afternoon, and stuff like that. Came up with it, told me what they were, and then tested me on it. Brilliant. I've got day 2 to do today. AI is teaching me Italian. Is Siri the same kind of thing? It is the same kind of thing. In actual fact, my understanding is that there will be a bit of crossover. I think Siri, I wouldn't be at all surprised if Google ended up buying ChatGPT, to be honest, or OpenAI, which may or may not be a good thing. But I think there is now a degree of crossover where one feeds the other. Mick Norton says, tell Jim Turner, I bumped into a farmer on a tractor yesterday. It's forecasting the end of the world. Farmageddon. Farmageddon. Well done. Well done. Peter McKenna says, difficult for hackers to compromise autonomous machines on construction sites depends on the robustness of the security measures in place. With adequate precautions, the risk can be significantly mitigated, but it remains an ongoing challenge requiring vigilant and proactive management. Once again, I'm going to take a wild stab. That's straight off of Google, all of which is absolutely true. But look at the adequate precautions. Risk can be significantly mitigated. How is that any difference to on-site security to keep numpties and teenage hooligans out? It's exactly the same thing. Diesel engines. If a sensor fails, you're still goosed. Yes, indeed. So long as you don't start going out for meals with your phone on a tripod. No, I'm not going to do that. And I have to say, I mean, I know it looked a bit strange, me talking to my phone. Did feel a little bit uncomfortable. I've got used to, I mean, you saw yesterday when I did the walk and talk thing, I've got used to talking to my phone or talking to a camera in public. I don't mind that. But I actually took myself away from the family yesterday so that I could talk to the AI to do that video, because you do look a bit of a twat. Ed Butler says, will AI understand man, Scotsman, Steve, Earth Movie? Steve, try it. The app is freely available. Chat. I'll tell you what, let me have a look. Yeah, it's called ChatGPT. I don't know if you can see it. It's that one there. And it really is as simple as that. You just fire it up and away you go. Chris Ford says, I bumped into a lady of the night the other day. She said she'd met a farmer. I inquired how she knew. She said, at first it was too wet, then it was too dry. In the end, it was too bloody expensive. Why the farmer jokes? Why the farmer jokes? I tell you what, I'm going to come back to AI, but because we've got Mick Norton in the house, I pulled this video up. I didn't want to play it on the main show. I thought I'd save it for Mick to have a look at. You know how he likes to get all excited about machine stability, longitudinal and latitudinal stability? I'd like you to give me your opinion on this, if you would be so kind, Mr. Norton. Any thoughts on that? Love to get your take on it. So let's go back to let's talk about all things AI. Let's have a look. Steve Williamson says, AI makes you a more knowledgeable person. No one reads hardly anymore. A lot of workers don't know how much AI can help this. When they launched the latest version of ChatGPT 4 Omni, 2 or 3 weeks ago, I think it was, one of the things that they did was they put a phone on the desk, and there was I think there's 3 people actually on the screen, and they said, ChatGPT, there's 3 of us here. One of us speaks English and one of us speaks Italian. So can you listen to both of us, and can you translate the Italian into English and the English into Italian? Seamless. You imagine that you're on your hollybobs somewhere, not necessarily Italy, you're on your hollybobs, you don't speak the local lingo, and you want to get across what it is that you're after, but be it for an emergency, you need a first aid kit, or you just want to order a beer or whatever it might be. You can do that using AI. Absolutely brilliant. What's happened to our Demolition? Will you be using her in your new shows? No, well, maybe. To be perfectly honest, in absolute truth, I'd like those new tech shows featuring ChatGPT. I wouldn't say to be necessarily serious, because we can have some fun with it. But I think there are things to explore, like sustainable construction and all of that kind of thing. I think we could explore it in a very serious way with somebody that knows basically everything. So yeah, we'll see how that all plans out. Dan Kahn says, "Well, Ed, try to be in Yorkshire, in and out of coverage, depending which way the wind blows." Yeah. Chris Ford says, having an affair with an AI woman is much different to the real thing. You could never win an argument. That is absolutely true. Would the AI interaction be more believable if it had been delivered in a broad, Brummy or Geordie accent? Possibly. You have to think that's going to come. That is, you will be able to personalize it to that degree. Again, I mean, I named it because ChatGPT 4 Omni, you wouldn't call your best mate that, would you? So it just seemed like a sensible idea to give it a name. But you could do, there's an awful lot of flexibility. And bear in mind, this is the latest development. And here's the thing, right? I heard a phrase yesterday. I've heard it before. And this, I think this is a term that we all need to bear in mind when we're talking about technology, electric machines, hydrogen machines, anything future facing. And that phrase is this: today is the worst that this will ever be. That AI will get better. It won't get But it won't get worse. It won't get harder to use. It will get better. Electric machines, yes, we all get excited about battery life and everything else. They will get better. Hydrogen machines, yes, all the machines I've seen so far that run hydrogen look like they've got a hump on their back. They will get better. Today is the worst that they will ever be. It really is an interesting point. Why did the Scarecrow become a successful construction manager? Because he was outstanding in his field. Oh, dear. Yeah, Jim Turner says the fact that your AI fella a few times made it much more human and listenable. Yeah. Yeah, and in actual fact, I picked up on that. The other thing that it does from time to time, it even interrupts you. If your question is quite long, it actually says, do you mean... It's exactly like talking to a human. You know, if a human hasn't grasped it immediately, it will actually ask the question. Peter McKenna on that Tobrocco Giant system. Stabilo is a fantastic system designed for farmers in mind, but will be utilised on any site that isn't on a level service. Mad where technology is advancing, he says. Mick Norton, however, says self-leveling devices are not new, have a niche with tractor-based equipment. When physical adjustments are made at height by the operators, where there will still be a foreseeability of risk. I knew you'd have a good answer to that. ChatGPT can speak Geordie. I'm sure it can. I can't understand it, but I'm sure it can. So we do need to do a prize draw, don't we? I didn't mean to keep you waiting this long, so let me share my screen, bring up this. I don't know how many entries we ended up with. We ended up with 11. So stand by your beds, people, because it is time to find out who has won our exclusive water bottle that I hauled back and got through customs just for you guys. So here we go. Mr. Mick Norton, you have yourself a Volvo water bottle. I can't remember the name of that thing that you told us about. Your drinking vessel from way back when that was made of animal skin or something. I know we had the conversation. You don't need that anymore. You've got something made of fossil-free steel. It almost certainly isn't. Congratulations, Mick. You've just won yourself a prize. You will need to remind me of your postal address, if you would be so kind. And there's Jim Turner saying, well done, well done, well done. And there's well done winner as well. Yeah. And another one. Well done, Mick. Yeah, absolutely. Well done, Mick. Remind me of your postal address. I've got some bits and pieces to do today. I've got a Zoom call today with the fine folks at Caterpillar, actually, because I've already told you on the 12th of this month, no, not the 12th of this month, the 12th of next month, we've got our evening show with Mike Keogh of C&D Consultancy, and exactly 1 week later we've got Gilles Ronnet coming on to talk about all things Caterpillar. We've got a brand new exclusive video to play you, plus we're all going to get into some of the latest developments, because it does feel very much like Caterpillar are having a real push on all things demolition. Obviously the airwaves will be open, so if you want to ask Gilles any questions that are relevant to Caterpillar, demolition, construction, mainly demolition because that's his baby, then you'll be able to do so. That will be the 19th of June, 7 p.m. in the evening. Of course, 7 p.m. is in the evening. That's why it's called PM. But yes, 7 o'clock on the 19th of June. We're going, as I said, I've got a Zoom call later today, about an hour's time, actually. We're going to go in through the final details of the planning on that. There you are. There you are. That was the drinking vessel that I mentioned. Did I ever get to whether it was called a chagol or a chargol, made from Hessian by HMP? Looking forward to placing canned Guinness into my Volvo drinking vessel. Thanks. I don't. I mean, I've got it down as a water bottle, but yeah, if you want to put Guinness in it, you knock yourself out. It's yours to do with what you will. Don't forget to let me have your address. That's going to do us for today. I will be keeping you up to date on the other changes that we've got coming up for the show. You know, breaking it up and various other bits and pieces. It's gradually clarifying in my head if I can stop playing around with AI long enough to concentrate on it. But we will be bringing you up to date on that that pretty much wraps up the main show. Well, it wraps up everything, because I think we've probably... No, we haven't done all the chat. I do need to go back. I tell you what, let's put some music on in the background. Did anyone miss the rap to this morning? Here's the rap, just in case you did, and then I'll put some background music on.
All the news on building and construction, the latest on demolition and destruction, the mystery machine, question of the day, we have got your back. And if you stick around, we will return with the bit we call the crack. The time has come, it's time to go. So welcome to the Break Fast Show.
Just got worldwide hit written all over it, hasn't it? Let's put a bit of that up. Turn that down, because I do need to go. There's no point in doing a question of the day if you don't actually go back and have a look at what they are. So the question of the day, which came from Gary Muirhead, favourite soft drink of all time. We'll come to that in just a moment, but I'm going to rattle through very quickly. Lots of people saying hello. We won't bother with those because we've already addressed all of those, I think. Yes, that's the response to the rap. That's exactly what I expected. Question of the day, there we are. Past or present, what is your favourite drink? Obviously, my favourite soft drink today, as always, is root beer, but it's very hard to come by. So, yes, I lapse back to Diet Coke, never Pepsi. So, that was mine. Ken Hatcher likes a milkshake. I have to say, I do like a milkshake as well. Chocolate McDonald's milkshake. Yes, please. Jim Turner. Jim Turner is looking very north for his drink of choice. He is going for Iron Brew. Gary Muirhead, Top Deck Shandy. I thought I was so cool when I was younger, drinking real beer shandy. I used to have that, and I used to love it. How much alcohol was in that? Was there any? What was there? It kind of tasted like there might be, but I was never entirely sure. The other one I used to like, which is not a soft drink at all. Does anyone remember? There was a shandy ice lolly, but there was also a cider ice lolly. Does anyone remember that? Lovely. Andy Darvell says Dandelion and Burdock. See, Dandelion and Burdock, very close relative to the root beer. So if you like one, you probably like the other. Bloody love the stuff, but getting harder and harder to find. So one of my dad's favourites was the Dandelion and Burdock. Let's have a look. Banana milkshake, even better than beer, says Chris Ford. That's a bold claim. That is a very bold claim, I would say. I agree with Pepsi. Can't stand the stuff. Coca-Cola only. Yes. I wouldn't be at all phased if they were to outlaw Pepsi entirely. And I tell you what, one thing that does get on my nerves, gets on Fred's nerves way more than it does mine. But when you go into a restaurant or a restaurant or a cafe or something like that, and you say, I'll have a Diet Coke, will Pepsi do? That's like saying, I'll have a bacon sandwich. Would beans on toast do? No! Different thing. The hell are you talking about? Actually, I bloody love Bundaberg ginger beer. That stuff is lush. I've never, ever had Bundaberg ginger beer. I used to have ginger beer as a kid. Never had the Bundaberg version, but need to go and look that out. Question of the day. If it's fizzy, Dandelion and Burdock. See, the Dandelion and Burdock. Those people that make it and that are slowly doing away with it, be aware. Be aware. Here on the Breakfast Show, there is a very willing audience, willing to drink the stuff until the cows come home. And people liked the Volvo days. Well, shocker. Yeah, I have to say, that I was pleased with that video, but wait until you see the video that Fred's done for the R60. I'm saying it quietly. He's next door. I don't want him to hear this because he'll get a big head, but man alive, it really is a bit special. Look out for that. Going through all of this. We've done most of these, I think. Steve says, just munching my smoked bacon and tomato sauce sandwiches. Didn't get much better than that. Doesn't get much better than that. People liking the implosion video, and lots of talk about Top Gear and Gold Rush and stuff. I'm just making sure I've covered all the bases here, basically. Yeah. just wanted to pick back up on this one. Here come the hate comments, and you know, they're not really hate comments. I don't, you know, it's not like anyone's called me a tosser. Well, outside my family, nobody's called me a tosser so far today. I'm pretty chill about it. But don't lose sight of what we currently have. You know, as it stands at the moment, you know, we are a very labour-intensive industry. Which means we are a very human-intensive industry. And humans, in every way, shape, or form, are fallible. They go sick. They have domestic emergencies. They get drunk. They take drugs. They have car breakdowns. They have train strokes. They fall down. They hurt themselves. AI doesn't do any of that. So yes, it is quite easy to sit here, I think, and point at AI and say, threatening our jobs, and, you know, what if the sensors fail? What if the Wi-Fi goes down? What if the Bluetooth goes down? Still better. Now, I say it every time, I have to preface this, I am not advocating for AI to take over and put everybody out of work. That is certainly not what I would want to do. I'm quite happy to sit here and talk to AI, but I don't want that to be my only audience, because that would be crap. But horses for courses. As I say, something like analysing telematics data. You know, you could pay somebody a lot of money to sit down and look at spreadsheet after spreadsheet, trying to find out where a machine fault is. Or you could say to AI, have a look at that, would you? Tell us what's going on. Plot some trends. Identify which operator is using more fuel than everybody else so that we can take him to one side and have a quiet word. All of those kind of things. And we will do it. You know, I'm happy to do a live test when I can see. There's Steve saying, could you ask it how much time you'll need for XYZ measurements? And tell you what you'll need to order. Things to help people, things like that. Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure it could fathom that out. I don't know that because I've not tried it, but maybe I will. Maybe do that as well. Have we had new comments? Steve says, I'd rather drink diesel than dandelion and burdock. There used to be Coke in Coca-Cola. They did. Yes, they absolutely did. Question of the day, ginger beer is nice. Can't remember the last time I ever did that. That's pretty cool, Mark. Well done to whoever wrote it. Thank you. Yes, I was watching a video back to back. So I watched a video that was explaining how I use the AI that I used. And then the same guy then went on in another video to talk about an AI that he was using for music. I thought, I wonder if I could do that. And he just said, you know, give us some lyrics, which I gave it, and it spat it out as a rap. There's actually, well, I've got several versions, but yeah. Dan says, oh my God, I'm going to start humming it. Yes, I wonder if you will. Dan says, can't stand Coke, Fanta or water. I do like a bit of orange Fanta, I have to say. Steve says, people say that AI isn't the way or it's not good. I don't think they realise how much they actually use it. It's as bad as Greenpeace protesting oil drilling, standing on a diesel burning boat made by metal that was created by diesel machines, holding banners made of plastic and wood cut down by a diesel burner. Get a grip. Yeah, absolutely. Listen, I think there's something that's been lost in translation. We're using AI all the live long day. I mean, you think about the sat nav in your car. It's an AI. It is what it is. It is an artificial intelligence. It's not a person sat there telling you to take the next left. It is an artificial intelligence. You know, if you're using Google, if you're using Siri, all of those are artificial intelligence. It's not there's not a Mr. Google sat behind a screen typing out the answers to your queries. That is artificial intelligence. We're using it all the time. I think the issue comes when we start to see it becoming humanized, you know, when it can actually speak to you. I think that starts to set the alarm bells ringing. But personally, I mean, I'm bearing in mind, I can type at about, depending how busy I am, I can type at somewhere between 100 and 120 words a minute. It's what I do for a living. I'm very, very good at it. But I can't type while I'm driving, And sometimes it's easier just to have a chat. And that's exactly what I do with that. And as I say, I mean, if I've got a spare 20 minutes, for example, I could literally put the phone on the stand and record a podcast. Think about that in comparison, and we're doing it for all the right reasons. You know, we want to bring you the best possible show that we can. But I've already had a long conversation with Mike Keogh about his show in a couple of weeks' time. I've got a Zoom call in 45 minutes to talk to a couple of people from Caterpillar about how we're going to structure their show. All of that requires planning and human interaction and back and forth and everything else. With this, phone in the rest, record. And we can take that as what literally, as it stands at the moment. I said, you know, journalistic protocol is you go to the source. If somebody came up with a question to which I didn't have an answer, you know, I'd have to go away and think about, okay, who do I know that might be able to answer that? Or possibly I know a person that might know a person that knows a person that could give me the answer. Don't have to worry about that anymore. Don't have to worry about it. Just stick my phone in a stand and say, let's have a natter, and can you tell me about? And it will. Same as McDonald's, hate it. So many people feeding their kids there every day. It's unbelievable how lazy the modern chav has become. Has anybody seen the movie WALL-E? I think it's a Pixar movie about the last robot left on Earth or something like that. I can't remember the exact shtick about it, but it ends up that you get an insight to future humans, and they are all sat in effectively powered wheelchairs. They're all fat and they're all fed fast food. I don't know if they did it on purpose. My guess is they probably did, but when I watched it, it was entertainment. And now the older I've got, you look at it and you think that's actually a prediction of the future. You know, particularly, you find yourself in Las Vegas, a number of people that are very, very seriously obese, that are wheeling themselves about because their legs aren't up to the job. How did we get there? How did we get there as a people? Can I ask, what is lazy about AI? Because I can't think of a reason on why it makes you lazy. Me either. And it's not just a matter of laziness, to my mind. It comes back to a thing that you know, work smarter rather than working harder. It is Steve's catchphrase, if you like. If I want to drive from here to a specific destination in Newcastle, I could break out the atlas. I'm sure I've got a road map here somewhere. I could plot that down, possibly have it on the seat beside of me, which is not a particularly good idea. Very dangerous unless you pull over to look at it. And you know, the last little bit would be a bit tricky. I'd have to find the right place, the right turn, and then the right address. Or I could just put it in my sat nav and let that take the strain. What would I rather do? And it's exactly the same as this. And I think this is where Google needs to look at itself pretty hard. If you ask Google a question, it says, here's all the answers we found, make up your own mind. Whereas this gives you the answer. So, you know, like I said last night, I just for pure entertainment's sake, you know, tell me about the Roswell incident. 10 minutes on the Roswell incident. You know, the name of the farmer that found the crashed UFO, what it transpired to be, how it linked to Area 51 and all that kind of thing. Just why would you not? Anyone that says they still use a map are lying. Yeah, absolutely. I'll tell you one thing that is, and again, this is an AI. We had a couple of occasions. Does anyone out there, I'm probably looking at the younger folk, but does anyone out there, or did anyone ever play Pokemon Go on their mobile phone? Doesn't matter, but Pokemon Go was, you could go to places in you know, real places in the real world, and you could find Pokemon to collect. You know, electronic Pokemon were at a specific location. That's why it was called Pokemon Go. On a couple of occasions, while Fred was busily playing that, we went out and, I used the sat-nav in my car, which is very good, but it couldn't give me the correct directions. I then turned to my maps on my iPhone, which got me closer, but still didn't come up with the right answer. And ultimately, we were guided by Pokemon Go, a game, largely a young person or even a child's game, had a better map than Google or Apple. Yeah. But why would you not? Why would you not? Dan says, getting ready to call it a day weekend. Have a wonderful weekend, guys. Stay safe. Few hours travelling ahead. Yeah, that does remind me, actually. I'm not here next week for a couple of days. I'm not here Monday and Tuesday because I'll be in Bobcat Land. Forgot to mention that. I'm off. We're off on Sunday night, actually, and we'll be there Monday and Tuesday. So no show until Wednesday. I wish I'd mentioned that at the beginning of the show, but, there's a lot going on. So don't expect to see me Monday, Tuesday, but I will be back with tales to tell from Bobcat Land and more to bring you from our trip to Volvo as well. So look out for that. So, yes, I'll be seeing you very soon. Where are we? Hour and 24 minutes. That's plenty long enough, I would say. Dan Cullen says part-timer. Yeah, the good thing is once we get the Volvo, once we get the Bobcat bit out of the way, I've got a full run until Hillhead. So the best part of a month with no interruptions, hopefully. And we are going to be doing a couple of evening shows as well, just to fill in the gaps, as it were. So make sure you look out for those. But have a good weekend. Have a good Monday and Tuesday. Try not to miss me too much. And I'll be back Wednesday next week with, as I say, Tales of the Czech Republic. Hopefully. Assuming we make it back. Till then, everybody, take care of yourselves. Thanks for all your input. Thanks for all your comments and your questions. Mick, congratulations on your water bottle. I'll be getting that in the post for you tomorrow because I need to go and buy a box for it. Till then, everybody, have a good one. Have a good weekend. Look after yourselves. See you soon. Bye.